There is a particular kind of silence that only exists in places that were once loud. Not the silence of emptiness, the silence of absence. The heavy quiet that fills a space where people used to gather, spend, and dream. The silence of a storefront where the lights have gone dark, where the glass doors that once slid open to release a wave of perfumed air now reflect only passing crowds who no longer have a reason to stop. That silence has been spreading across Dubai. For decades, the emirate operated as retail mythology, a city that seemed immune to the laws governing everywhere else. No income tax, no economic gravity. A place where cranes never stopped moving and stores never stopped opening. Where the world's most powerful luxury brands did not simply set up shop, they planted flags. Dubai was not just a market. It was a statement, evidence that aspiration packaged correctly and placed in the right climate-controlled mall could be sold to anyone from anywhere at any price. For a long time, it worked. The Dubai Mall alone hosting over 1,200 stores, attracting over 100 million visitors per year. Consultancy Bain confirming the Middle East as luxury's brightest performer as recently as late 2025. Then, in fewer than 18 months, something unshakable began to tremble. The departures started quietly, then a geopolitical shock arrived that no one had fully prepared for, and the trembling became a rupture. This is a countdown of 6 luxury brands that closed, retreated, or collapsed in Dubai, each one a symptom of something far larger. Number 6. West Elm. It started with a farewell message most people almost missed. In July 2025, West Elm Middle East posted a carefully worded goodbye on social media. The kind of language brands use when they have been coached on how to leave without triggering alarm. But the message was unambiguous. West Elm was closing its Dubai Mall flagship, and it was not coming back. West Elm had spent 15 years building a precise niche in the UAE under the Al Shaya Group franchise. Sleek, considered, expensive enough to feel meaningful, accessible enough to feel achievable. For years it worked, then in 2025, it did not. By December 25th, every remaining West Elm location in the UAE, Kuwait, and Riyadh had permanently closed, including the online platform. Clearance discounts reached 80%. No official explanation was ever provided. Rising retail rents, declining foot traffic, the shift to online, and a fundamental rethinking by Al Shaya Group of which brands were still worth the operational cost. West Elm was the first clear signal that the forces reshaping retail everywhere else had arrived in the UAE. Number 5. Pottery Barn and Pottery Barn Kids. These two brands fell together, and the way they fell exposed a structural flaw that goes beyond any individual brand decision. For 15 years, Pottery Barn was one of the most reliable anchors of premium home retail in the UAE, positioned just far enough above mass-market furniture to feel like a meaningful upgrade. For wave after wave of expatriates arriving to build new lives, it was frequently one of the first places they went. Pottery Barn Kids did the same for parents, selling aspirational parenthood in the form of monogram backpacks and bedroom collections that cost more per square meter than the average adult room in most of the world. By December 25th of 2025, every location of both brands in the UAE, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia had permanently closed simultaneously. The website went dark. What both closures exposed was the core structural flaw of the franchise model, a single point of failure. When the regional partnership deteriorates, there is no hybrid structure to soften the blow. The exit is total. Number 4. Marks & Spencer Food. This one landed differently. Because Marks & Spencer Food was not a luxury purchase for most customers in the UAE. It was a ritual. The weekly shop, the comfort food from home for hundreds of thousands of British and European expatriates. The familiar packaging in a city where familiarity can feel like a survival mechanism. When Alpha Time Group decided to exit the food business and convert food halls into fashion and beauty space, the impact was immediate and personal. Not the end of a luxury brand, the end of a small but important piece of what made living far from home manageable. A signal that in the ongoing battle between floor space and return on investment, even the most culturally embedded products were no longer exempt. Number 3. Apple closes its stores. Apple's temporary closure carried symbolic weight that no other entry in this countdown could match. Because Apple is not a brand that closes. Apple stores are designed to remain open, engineered for continuity, positioned as anchors of commercial normalcy. When one closes, it is not a business decision. It is a signal. For 48 hours in March 2026, Apple's UAE stores went dark. No purchasing, no service. Staff directed home. The company cited employee safety. The message the market received was something else entirely. That the city, which had spent 2 decades positioning itself as a place where global commerce never stopped, had just watched one of the most powerful brands in the world decide that continuity was not worth the risk. That moment cost Dubai something no reopening date could fully restore. Number 2. Amazon suspends operations. If Apple's closure was symbolic, Amazon's was structural. When Amazon suspended deliveries from its Abu Dhabi distribution centers and halted regional operations, it did not disrupt luxury shopping. It disrupted daily life for millions of people who depended on the platform for essentials, medical supplies, baby products, household necessities. The consumers who felt this most acutely were not affluent expatriates with alternatives. They were millions of working-class residents for whom Amazon had become the primary access point for basic goods at competitive prices. The democratizing promise of e-commerce, suspended by a geopolitical event nobody had modeled. Amazon's shutdown showed Dubai something it had not wanted to see, that the safety net beneath the safety net could also fail. Number 1. LVMH and the fracture of the Dubai luxury model. Everything in this countdown has been leading here. Not because LVMH is the largest luxury conglomerate in the world, though it is, but because of what its vulnerability in Dubai reveals about the model that built this city's entire relationship with luxury. In the first quarter of 2026, LVMH reported revenue down 6%, with the Iran conflict costing a full percentage point of organic growth. The Middle East accounts for 14% of LVMH's total global revenue, but Gulf consumers are LVMH's most profitable segment. Full-price buyers, zero-discount customers. When Gulf malls reported demand declines of 30 to 70% in March 2026, the damage was not proportional to the headcount of consumers lost. It was the margin destruction that comes when your highest-spending customers disappear overnight. LVMH shares fell 27% from the start of 2026. Combined market capitalization loss at LVMH and Kering exceeded 100 billion euros. The region Bain called luxury's brightest performer in November 2025 became the sector's most urgent problem by March 2026. In fewer than 4 months, LVMH stores largely remained open even during the worst weeks of the crisis. But the stock market had already rendered its verdict: 27% decline, 100 billion euros erased. LVMH in Dubai is not a story of failure in the conventional sense. It is the story of a model reaching the edge of its own design limits. Step back from the clearance sales and the darkened storefronts and look at what they formed together. 6 closures and disruptions revealing the simultaneous failure of multiple structural models, each one masking the fragility of the others. The franchise model proved efficient during expansion and catastrophic during contraction. The mall model proved vulnerable to the same forces that dismantled it everywhere else. And the assumption that Dubai's stability was a permanent feature rather than a working assumption was tested in real time and found exactly as fragile as everything else. Dubai is not abandoned. It is too large, too wealthy, too strategically positioned to be abandoned. But it is at a crossroads that 50 years of continuous growth had allowed it to defer. The stores that closed are not the story. They are the punctuation in a longer sentence that Dubai is still in the process of writing. Which of these 6 surprised you most? Leave it in the comments.